the scene. Tension is mounting inside Buckingham Palace, and it's not because of some tabloid headline or a clumsy press conference. This is something far darker, far more dangerous, and if it's true, it could shake the very foundation of the monarchy. The Whispers, a sex tape. Not just any salacious recording, but one allegedly featuring Prince Andrew, said to have been filmed on Jeffrey Epstein's private island, and now reportedly in the possession of Russian intelligence. Yes, you heard that right. Moscow may be holding what could be the most explosive piece of royal compromat in modern history. It all traces back to a name most people have never heard before: John Mark Dougan, a former Florida deputy who fled to Russia years ago. But he didn't just leave quietly, he allegedly carried with him a trove of digital files tied to Epstein. Here's where it gets truly shocking. Dougan has publicly claimed he possesses damning material. Not mere gossip, but actual video. Footage capable of bringing the entire royal institution to its knees. If the Kremlin really does have that tape, we're no longer talking rumor. This is geopolitical leverage, and intelligence agencies in both the UK and the US are treating it with absolute seriousness. Now, stop for a moment and consider the implications. Such a revelation wouldn't just confirm the darkest suspicions about Prince Andrew's ties to Epstein. It would hand Russia the power to blackmail, destabilize, and publicly humiliate the monarchy. And according to credible insiders, not tabloid chatter, the monarchy itself might not survive a leak of this scale. As one royal source put it, "This isn't scandal, this is national security." But let's not get ahead of ourselves. This isn't the first time the royal family has faced the shadow of compromising footage. Long before Meghan Markle became the Duchess of Sussex, whispers circulated in Hollywood about alleged revealing videos or photos from her early days. Most of it proved fake or wildly exaggerated, but the palace still braced for impact. A few images did leak. Nudity? Yes, but nothing sexual. Still, it was enough to prove how quickly private moments can explode into public scandal. Insiders say Meghan somehow managed to wipe that material from the internet. How she pulled it off is unclear. Maybe those clips never existed, or maybe her legal team worked overtime. Either way, she sidestepped disaster. Prince Andrew isn't so lucky. If a tape truly exists, it's beyond his control, and reportedly in Moscow's possession. A hostile government holding something this damaging? That's the kind of threat that keeps palace officials awake at night. This isn't just a PR nightmare. If the footage exposes criminal acts or sheer depravity, Andrew wouldn't be the only one scorched. The fallout could crush what's left of the royal image. King Charles would have no choice but to act swiftly. Prince William, already maneuvering to shield the monarchy from Andrew's baggage, would likely push harder than ever. This could be the moment Charles severs ties completely, not just with Andrew, but perhaps with Harry and Meghan as well. The circle is tightening, and anyone seen as a liability is under more scrutiny than ever. Inside palace walls, one rule stands above all: protect the crown at any cost. And when family members threaten that, they're quietly pushed to the sidelines. Andrew, once untouchable, learned the hard way after the Epstein fallout when he was stripped of his royal duties and military titles. Even the Queen, who adored him, had no choice but to let him go. But a sex tape in enemy hands? That's not damage control. That's a crisis demanding irreversible action. Insiders say this is exactly why Prince William has spent years quietly steering the monarchy away from Andrew. Behind the scenes, he's playing the long game, protecting both his father's legacy and the crown he will one day inherit. And if that means cutting loose the royal family's wild cards, so be it. The problem is, Andrew isn't the only wild card. Harry and Meghan carry volatility of their own. Let's start with Meghan. For years, rumors have swirled about what material might exist from her acting days. Nude shots, personal clips, even alleged recordings from old phones. Most of it has never surfaced, or turned out to be altered. But inside the palace, the possibility is enough to spark fear, and fear changes decisions. Meghan managed to scrub much of it from public view. Whether through legal threats, payouts, or sheer luck, she stayed in control of her story. Andrew, on the other hand, is reckless, stubborn, and oblivious to how deep his trouble runs. If a foreign power wanted to destabilize the monarchy, he's the softest target, and Moscow knows exactly how to use leverage like this. In Russia, compromising material is an art form. You don't even have to release it. Just convincing the world it exists can sow chaos, distrust, and fear. And it's working. Buckingham Palace won't comment, but insiders say anxiety is sky high. Staff are being reshuffled, the security protocols reviewed, and the atmosphere inside is tense. This is bigger than Andrew. It's about how much destruction one person's mistakes can unleash on a thousand-year-old legacy. Meanwhile, Meghan's former best friend, Jessica Mulroney, has been quietly resurfacing. Her years-long silence, especially after Meghan publicly cut ties during a controversy, has been deafening. Now reports say Jessica has told friends she regrets ever getting involved with Meghan. Not just because of their falling out, but because it wrecked her marriage, tarnished her brand, and cost her peace of mind. Once, the two were inseparable. Jessica was a trusted confidant, shaping Meghan's image as she stepped into royal life. Now, Meghan reportedly won't even take her calls. That's not distance. That's erasure. Jessica, whose children walked down the aisle at Meghan's wedding, feels deeply betrayed. Rumors swirl of a tell-all, a podcast appearance, maybe even a book. If she speaks, it won't just drag Meghan's past into the spotlight. It could shatter her entire carefully crafted image. Jessica's silence, once seen as loyalty, now looks like a ticking time bomb. She stood by as Meghan climbed, smiling through the chaos, even as she was pushed aside. But after a messy divorce and a career in ruins, she's reportedly had enough. And if anyone knows the real Meghan, not the posed photos or polished podcast voice, but the woman behind the curtain, it's Jessica. Those close to her claim Meghan can be ruthless when it serves her narrative. It's a pattern. Meghan gets close, takes what she needs, and cuts ties. She's done it with the royal family, with old friends, even with Jessica's children. Kids who once called her aunt and played a role in her wedding, only to be ghosted completely. That kind of cold detachment doesn't just hurt feelings. It changes people. And Jessica may finally be ready to speak. Not out of revenge, but to reclaim her story before someone else tells it for her. While the palace braces for that possible bombshell, another wildcard looms. Harry. Behind the scenes, cracks are showing in his marriage. Sources say he recently disappeared for days on a solo trip to Africa, leaving Meghan completely in the dark. No calls, no updates, nothing. That's not just a marital spat, it's a warning sign, especially from a man who once gave up everything, his country, his family, his royal role, for her. Insiders claim Meghan spiraled during those days, not only because she couldn't reach him, but because she knew what it meant. Harry was reconnecting with something real. Not fame, not cameras, peace. The part of him that still wants to be Prince Harry, not California Harry. The part that misses the crown, even if he won't admit it. Some believe this trip was more than a getaway, maybe even a test run for what life could be if he left again. And the truth is, without King Charles, there's no way back. William won't offer a second chance. He's too protective of the monarchy and too burned by the past. When Charles is gone, the door closes forever. Meghan knows it. That's why she's clinging to brand deals, lifestyle projects, and podcast plans, but nothing sticks. Not because she lacks talent, but because she doesn't truly live the life she's selling. She's not passionate about home cooking, holistic parenting, or inspirational speaking. It's all curated, all crafted, and people can sense the inauthenticity from miles away.